Uh, and what I want to talk about today is competitive bidding, and it's something I'm asked about quite a bit, and it is one of the hardest aspects of bridge, knowing when to compete against the opponents, when to pass, and let them have the contract. So I'm actually going to start off with some hands that were actually played in uh, in online games, and we'll look at some real problems in deciding what to bid. And I wanted to start with this one here. This was played in a last year, late last year, and I want you to look at this from South's point of view. West here has opened a spade. Your partner North overcalls two hearts, so that should be a pretty good hand, so a good 5 card heart suit. East passes, and the question is, what do you think South should bid? So I'm going to launch a poll in a moment. The question is, what do you think South should bid? And then we'll look at the possible responses. There isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer, but I'd like your thoughts on what you think South should bid with that hand. Okay, I'm going to end the poll there and share the results with you. And I'll just say at the outset that a couple of people have gone for something else there. And if that was you, please unmute yourselves and tell me what you think you would go for. 2/3 of you, though, went for 3 hearts, and a quarter of you decided to pass. And if you bid something else, if you want to bid something else, do tell me what you think South should bid there. So let's think about this. Your partner's 2 hearts should be normally in the range 10 to 16 points. It should be a good 5 card heart suit. And you've got 4 hearts here, so you have support for your partner. On the other hand, you only have 5 points, and it's not really the kind of hand where you would want to invite game. Although you've got a fit in hearts, with only 5 points, you should possibly not be thinking of making a bid that would invite game. So it's a difficult choice. If you bid 3 hearts, though, let's bring up the 4 hands. You can see that your partner does have a wonderful hand there. And if you do bid 3 hearts, it makes it harder for the opponents to bid. West here in particular has got a very nice hand, but it's not clear that they're going to bid over 3 hearts when their partner has passed. They might bid 3 spades or 4 clubs, I suppose, but that's quite a bold bid. And if they don't make that bid, then if they pass, then your partner will almost certainly bid 4 hearts on this hand. And you'll end up in a good contract because according to the computer, 4 hearts will just make. You should lose just 1 club, 1 spade. Even with the bad trump break, you'll just lose 1 trick there, and you should just make 4 hearts there. So on this one, bidding 3 hearts was probably a good move, although you were somewhat light for it. The way I like to think about this is think about what your partner's overcall shows. And I'm just going to refer you. So think about what that 2 heart bid shows. So I'm just going to refer you to a handout I've got on my website on bridgeclass.co handouts. There's a handout called Losing Trick Count Expected Losers. And do have a look at that if you're not familiar with it. It talks about the expected losers of various bids. And in particular, this one here is what my partner just did. An overcall at the 2 level typically shows 10 to 16 points and 7 losers or less. So if I go back to my hand here, the South hand, I've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 losers. So if my partner has 7 losers, then we definitely don't have enough for game. It turns out on this hand that my partner's only got 1, 2, 3, 4 losers. They're extremely strong. once they found a fit for me. And so they will accept any kind of invitation I make. When this hand was played, I'll just show you the traveler for it. You can see most people played it in a heart contract. Others played it in a club contract. And one person played it in 4 spades and went down. Although the computer says that North-South can make 4 hearts, East-West can make 5 clubs or 4 spades. So if you decide not to bid on this hand, so suppose with the South hand you decide to pass, then it makes it much easier for West to get back into the auction, possibly bidding spades again, or probably even better to bid 3 clubs here. And so this is how it went at one of the tables: 3 clubs. North bids 3 diamonds, showing their second suit, and East sort of springs to life with this club fit and probably a spade fit as well, and they bid 4 clubs. Now, South, you might bid 4 hearts now, but you won't stop them outbidding you. They'll bid 4 spades or 5 clubs here. And if they do bid 5 clubs, they can actually make it. Actually, 5 clubs might well be doubled by North, because North is thinking, well, they've got the king of spades and they hope to make a couple of aces. But with this extreme distribution, actually, as I said, East-West can make 5 clubs on this hand, and there's nothing that North-South can do about it. So basically, by passing the 2-heart bid initially, you made it easier for them to get in and bid, show their hand again. Whereas if you'd have gone to 3 hearts, you're making it that much harder for West to bid again. So this is an example of a hand where you have 4 hearts. So you suspect that you have at least 9 trump between you. And so it works out best for you to compete right away in hearts, even though you're very weak. But you wouldn't normally want to invite game with this hand. So there's another topic that I've covered before. And again, if you look on the website, there's a handout here on the unassuming Q bid. And I won't go through it now because there's another video that describes it. But it basically allows you to Q bid the opponent's suit after your partner has made a suit overcall. And it's used to show support for your partner's suit and genuine interest in game. And if you play this, then it's easier on the hand we just looked at for South to jump to 3 hearts, not wanting to invite game, but just to get in the way. So on this, the kind of hand you would want to make that bid on is something like this, where it's gone 1 spade, your partner bids 2 hearts, and here you've got 9 points. You've got a very good fit in hearts, so you really want to invite game in hearts, and you can do that by bidding the opponent's suit, by bidding 2 spades here. So it frees up the bid of 3 hearts for a weak hand with maybe similar distribution, but that's much weaker. The other thing I would do on this hand is count my expected losers. So I've got, using the losing trick count, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losers. So if I think that my partner's 2 hearts showed 7 losers or less, this is a kind of hand I want to invite game on, and I do that by bidding 2 spades. And here I've changed the hand slightly, but North will probably accept the invitation because they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 points. And in terms of losers, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losers. So they accept the invitation, and you should be able to make 4 hearts on this hand. So that's my recommendation to you to, if you have a regular partner, to think about using the unassuming Q bid in these situations, because it then will allow you to bid 3 hearts with a much weaker hand, but with perhaps also 4 trump. Do trump if you've got any questions about it. But we'll look at some other hands now. These are, again, were all played in a real club game. And here's another one. And let's assume that no one is vulnerable on this hand. And I've got the second poll for you, which is, what do you think East should bid with this hand? Your partner's opened one spade, North passed, and what do you think East should bid here? And it's a tie between one no trump and two spades, with 11% passing. And let's switch back to it and see what we think. Well, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, if you were just a beginner starting out, you might pass here, but you don't really want to pass here. You really want to try to make a bid if you possibly can. And with only 5 points, I think I would bid something. My vote here would be for two spades, because you've got a doubleton club and you've got three reasonable trump. And very often it's better to bid to raise your partner's major to the 2 level with only 3 card support, rather than one no trump. But any bid, I think, is better than passing. And if you do bid, let's have a look at how the auction might continue if you bid 2 spades. So if you bid 2 spades, South sort of only got 11 points, might well pass. And what should West bid here? Well, West has got, I think, 15 points, but they should realize that you're showing something like 6 to 9. So the chance that you've got enough for game is pretty remote. And I would also count my losers on this hand. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losers, which makes it a minimum hand in terms of the losing trick count. So I think there's a lot to be said for passing that and playing it in 2 spades. And in fact, this hand, these hands are such that actually 2 spades can be defeated, or should normally be defeated here, because if I click on the GIB button, you can see that whatever they lead, declarers are likely to be down 1, because you're going to lose a heart, 3 diamonds, and 2 clubs. In other words, these features like that Queen doubleton are sort of not good features, and you can't even make 2 spades. But at least you'll only be down 1. What would happen if you didn't bid? What would happen if you passed? Well, if you pass, you make it much easier for South to enter the auction. And South's got 11 points. They've got a very good shape for making a double there. So if they double, then even though West might well bid 2 spades, North should definitely respond now and would bid 3 clubs. And that might end the auction unless East-West bid 3 spades. And actually 3 clubs can be made. So if they do bid 3 clubs, your best bet would be to bid 3 spades, although that would go down 2. And that would be a bad score if you were vulnerable. So by far the best action is to take action early on, to bid a little bit aggressively early on, rather than pass, hoping to come back in. Because by bidding early on, you sort of keep the opponents out to some extent. Do interrupt me if you have any questions on that. So those people who played this one in 2 spades got a pretty good score, because they were only down 1 typically, whereas others ended up going too high or letting the opponents play it in 3 clubs.
Tony?
Yeah.
I voted for one no trump there.
Okay.
And I can see that has a couple of advantages, because South would double one no trump, because that would be for penalties, wouldn't it?
Well, so that's a very good question. I think that a double of one no trump should not be for penalties in that case. So if it's gone 1 spade, 1 of a suit, 1 no trump, although standard bidding says that doubles of 1 no trump are penalties, I think you'll find most people play that for takeout of the 1 suit that's been bid. But it certainly is harder to bid over that. I mean, North-South may not be clear on that, but I do advise, if you have a regular partner, to treat that double as a takeout double. But you're over any bid, it's it's harder to bid than if you pass here. Anyway, my vote was for 2 spades there, but it could work out well to bid 1 no trump, as many of you did. Let's try this one. And again, these were all hands that were played here. East opened 1 heart, and let's suppose South bids 2 spades, and let's suppose you've agreed to play that as a weak jump over call. So that 2 spade bid is a bit like an opening weak 2, a 6-card suit, with a good suit without much else. So suppose West doubles, and if you want to ask what that means, that should be showing the other 2 suits, the 2 minors in this case. I've got the next poll for you, which is, what do you think North should bid here? What do you think North should bid? And 57% went for 3 spades, 36% 4 spades, and 2 people passed. So let's see what we think about that. Well, my partner's got a weak hand with a 6-card suit, and I don't think we're going to make game here. I've got 13 points, but I need more like 15 or 16 to think about making 4 spades here. But what I do have is a 3-card trump support for my partner. So just as when your partner opens with a weak 2, it's often a very good idea to compete by bidding 3 spades here. And you're competing to the level of your expected trump fit. You have a 9-card spade fit, and it's a good idea to compete to that level right away. So if you bid 3 spades here, let's actually bring up the 4 hands. It's now quite hard for East-West to bid again. East-West may decide to bid again, or they may just pass and let you play it in 3 spades. And on this layout, 3 spades is actually going to be a great score for you, because you can make 9 tricks. You would go down in 4 spades, because I think you're going to lose 2 hearts, a diamond, and a club. But 3 spades is makeable, and if you bid 3 spades, it may be hard for East-West may find it hard to compete. Again, let's see what happens if you don't bid 3 spades. If you decide to pass, then it's much easier for East-West to come in the auction. That double shows the 2 unbid suits, both minors. So East should definitely bid 3 diamonds there to support their partner's suit. Now, West here might well go back to 3 hearts, because they've got some kind of fit for them in partner in hearts as well as diamonds. And in fact, these hands where you have a double fit, both East-West should be aware that they've got a double fit in the red suits, often make a lot of tricks. Now, after 3 hearts, North, you might belatedly bid 3 spades here, but you're unlikely to end up with it, because East-West have found a fit actually in 2 suits, and East might well bid 4 diamonds or 4 hearts. And if they do, whichever they bid, that might well end the auction. According to the computer, 4 diamonds or 4 hearts can't make, so you would get a 50 points for defeating either of those contracts, but it's not as good as you playing in 3 spades. So
Tony,
yeah.
Sorry. When after a double do you jump? When you would answer 3 spades, but it's been doubled, so you go 4 spades. There's a particular time when you go up 1.
Yeah, I mean, if the so it's not quite this example, but it's an example where your partner opens a suit and maybe you were going to bid, you were going to support them bidding 2 hearts, so they bid 1 heart, you were going to bid 2 hearts. But if there's an intervening double, that's when you might bid a bit more aggressively and bid 3 hearts. So
okay.
So that's, I think, what you're talking about. This is
Yeah.
a sort of slightly different situation. It's all about being competitive, and there's an awful lot to be said for North bidding 3 spades at his first turn. It makes it much harder for the opponents to enter the auction after that. And it follows the principle of bidding to the level of your combined trump. So knowing that your partner's got a 6-card suit and you've got 3, you have 9 trump. So you should be willing to compete to the 3 level, and it tends to work out better if you do it right away. So, you know, I think there's a lot to be said for slightly aggressive bidding, you know, as long as you and your partner are on the same wavelengths. In particular, of course, that 3 spade bid is definitely not invitational. Okay, so this one, as I said, North-South can make, each side can basically make 9 tricks. And if you look at it, East-West have got a 9-card diamond fit, North-South have got a 9-card spade fit. And it's the right thing to do is to be in 3 spades. Let's end with this one here. And let's suppose it's gone 1 heart by West. North, you've overcalled 1 spade, and the bidding continues as follows. East bids 2 hearts, South bids 2 spades, West passes, back to you. I don't think I'm going to bid again here because my hand is sort of fairly unremarkable. I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points, and a reasonable 5-card suit. So I pass. But East comes in with 3 hearts. Your partner passes, West passes, and I've got the last poll of the evening, which is, what do you think North should bid here? Okay, let's have a look at the results. And it's 60-40 in favor of 3 spades over pass. And I agree this is a difficult one, but your probably best guidance is to think about how many trumps you and your partner have. And you've got a 5-card spade suit. Your partner could have supported you with only 3 cards. So as far as you're concerned, you may only have an 8-card trump fit. And you all don't really know for sure how many hearts the opponents have, but your side sounds like they only have 8 trump. By the way, South, your partner, had a chance to bid over 3 hearts, and if they had had 4 or more spades, they probably should have competed to bid 3 spades. But they didn't have an extra spade, and you don't have an extra spade. So the best thing to do might well be to pass and let them play it in 3 hearts. So if you do pass, let's just bring up the 4 hands and have a look at them. And it turns out that you have an 8-card fit in spades, while the opponents have got an 8-card fit in hearts. And again, this hand conforms to the law of total tricks, that the total number of tricks that can be made is 8 tricks can be made by each side. So here, if you bid 3 spades, you'll probably go down 1 because you're going to lose 2 hearts, 2 diamonds, and a club. And you do better to let them play it in 3 hearts and at least collect a plus score your way. So this, you know, law of total tricks is not by no means absolutely infallible, but it is often a good guideline as to when to bid and when to pass. And if you use it, you know, as an adjunct, thinking about how many trumps your side is likely to have, and bid to that level, then that will often steer you in the right direction. The other thing that would steer me away from bidding 3 spades on this hand is that I don't have any really good distribution. If I had a singleton and maybe a 5th diamond or so, this hand becomes much more interesting. But apart from my 5 spades, which my partner knows about, it's a fairly flat hand, and you do best just to let them play in 3 hearts there.
Tony,
Yes.
I know it would be a mistake in this particular hand, but I would pretty much always bid 3 spades when I'm non-vulnerable, thinking, wrongly in this case, I admit, that if they're making 3 hearts, it's better to go down non-vulnerable, even 1 or 2 tricks, than let them make 3 hearts.
Yes. Well, that's right. And of course, the other thing that will often happen if you compete, they may bid again. So it could be right for that reason as well. But you should generally be guided. In fact, in many of these examples I've looked at tonight, it's best to be guided by the number of trump that you and your partner have in these competitive auctions. And it is difficult, and sometimes you'll make the wrong decision. But you're absolutely right, Steve, in the sense that if you pass here, you may find on a different kind of hand, the distribution is slightly different, and you could have made 3 spades, or you'll only go down 1 in 3 spades. So bridge is definitely, and I don't, I know, Steve, you're quite an aggressive bidder, and that's great. But there are other people who are not so aggressive, and for them, I would like to encourage them to bid more aggressively, especially when they have a good trump fit. But it is a difficult matter, and you won't always make the right decision. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
Sorry, before you go, you referred to a worksheet on counting the losing tricks,
losing
tricks. Overcall.
Yeah.
Which one was it, please?
So if you go to the handout page here, and there's a handout on losing trick count expected losers. This one here.
Okay, great.
There's other slides and things, but this one is a summary. It covers some of the expected losers with that you would have using the losing trick count. So I think this is pretty good guide, and in many cases it will help you decide when to invite to game when your partner overcalls, especially overcalls are a wide range, especially at the 1 level. So it's very useful to have an idea of that, and also if you can, to use the unassuming Q-bid.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Tony, I've got a question.
Yes. Hello, Marilyn.
Hi. On the unassuming Q-bid, the example you showed, partner bid Q-bid with 4 of his partner's suits.
Yeah.
Can you do it with 3? Because he's got
yes. You could do it with 3. Yes, you could do it with 3. I mean, your hand should be a little bit stronger perhaps, or better if you only have 3. But yes, you could invite game with a slightly with only 3 trump there. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyway, let's end the talk there. I'll if anyone needs a partner, you can speak up now and